Hello, beautiful ones. Thank you for being here and welcome to Body Poetry Podcast. So, this is a new format that I am trying out, which I hope will be sustainable and stay like this, and that I'll be able to film and record for you every week to publish this podcast. At least is the intention, it's the goal. So, let's put it out there, manifest, and hopefully it works out. I really wanted this podcast to become visual, so for those who are here for the first time, I've been having body poetry podcasts has been existing for 5 years? No way. 4? 5 years, I think, something like that. And it's been kind of a ride because it's been going through ups and downs and, some snippets of my story. And the thing is that every single time I record something or I write something, because I always write before recording a podcast, I really want to write my thoughts. I journal about my thoughts. I have really deep reflection actually most of the time, because these topics are themes in my life. So the themes that I'm cultivating, they're always connected to certain moments in my life. So that's why they're really genuine and always so profound, I guess. Anyway, I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you so much for watching this. I can also be your background, or you can just watch me the whole time. I feel very awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Still not used to the being filmed while talking. It's something that I've been trying to overcome for years, because it's very easy for me to just do something or practice or move or dance or whatever, do everything but talk in front of a camera. Talking is funny enough. Some of my students actually know that because I've told them the story. But when I was younger, and especially when I started teaching, when I did my first yoga teacher training, I was so afraid. I cannot even tell you how, the amount of fear that I had in my body when it came to speaking in front of a room. It was impossible for me. I actually didn't even want to become a teacher. I was just I just wanted to deepen my knowledge, go through the whole journey, but I was not thinking of actually becoming a teacher. Life has definitely put me on this path, and probably for a reason. But anyway, when I was younger, I was terrified of speaking in front of others. I was even just terrified of speaking my truth, of speaking in general, of just saying what I had in mind. Yeah, I was a very complex child, I think, because I went through phases. I was a very timid child at first, and then I started to gain a bit more confidence as we moved countries when I was a kid with my family, with my parents and my brother. And I started to gain a bit more confidence because I had some, international friends, and I started to build more of there was this sense of belonging somehow with very open-minded people. I think I've always been like that, because even as a child, I was born in Paris, and then I stayed in Paris for a little bit when I was really young. And I remember at school, I used to be friends with people who traveled and who were not even originally French. Just like me, I'm mixed. I am originally partially French, but I'm also a lot of other things. But anyway, so it was interesting because I've always been able to open up with more of an international community. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you all of that. I have no idea where that came from, but I guess now you know a little bit more about me. Anyway, for those who don't know me, my name is Luna, and it's my real name. I have to mention that. I think I will mention it a lot in that new YouTube series, because a lot of people think that it's not my actual name, but I was born Luna. My mom definitely chose this name. So today I want to talk about something that has a little bit to do with what I mentioned just before, when it came to speaking my truth and allowing my voice to be heard. It's how to rebuild a relationship with your body, and how I rebuilt my relationship with my body. A little bit of story time. There was a moment in my life where I really believed that my body was something that I needed to manage. And I thought that for a very long time because the body was always something in my youth and in my childhood. It was always something to discipline, to fix somehow, to optimize also, and to control. And the strange thing is that I think most of my life, from the outside, people and my friends really probably thought that I had a really good relationship with my body. I was a dancer. I was always a dancer. I still am a dancer. That hasn't changed. I've been a dancer my whole life. I started dancing really, really early. My very first dance class, I think I was 3, something like this. Yeah, 3. If I remember well. I haven't stopped since then. I was dancing ballet. I was a little mini ballerina, and it shaped me in many ways. It shaped my body, it shaped the way I was seeing the world. It was my dream to become a ballerina, a professional ballerina at the Opéra de Paris. It was my dream to be, to be excellent and brilliant in this discipline and to be perfect. And also my teacher, my dance teacher at the time, she was a brilliant teacher, but also I think kind of toxic in many ways. Where she would really, make us work so hard for the perfect alignment, the perfect postures, the perfect spine, the perfect everything. And the body was at the center of all of this. And obviously when you're so young, so I'm talking about like especially when I started to become a teenager, I became aware of my body. I remember I had my period, started to have my period. I was quite young. I think I was 12. And I remember a lot of my friends around didn't have their period at the time. So I was one of the first girl in my group of friends to have my period. And so I was one of the first ones to experience that. I couldn't really ask any question to anyone because no one knew, and also it was not something we talked about. So I think now things have changed, at least in my generation. I'm a millennial, by the way, but yeah, it was very different. It was more taboo, and we didn't really talk about it. I started to have boobs, and and they were like, it felt a bit big compared to my body because I was always very tiny. So it was suddenly like, my body's changing and my hormones are changing. And so even though I didn't, I was not really aware of my body. I was not aware of the change. I'm saying all of that because now I have a different perspective and I have a very big step back. I've taken a huge step back on all of this, but obviously in the moment I was not thinking all of that. I was not even thinking of the change. I was not thinking of anything. It's only through my journey of getting to know myself, of getting to know my body, that I've realized so many things, and there has always been so many stories that I've held and that I kept in my body and that I stored in my body. And later on, traumatic stories actually happened, and I'm definitely not ready to talk about them right now in this very moment, but maybe eventually it will come out as I keep going with this podcast. It's been a journey for me to rebuild, or to even just build a relationship with my body. And so the reason I really wanted to talk to you about this today is because I see a lot of women around me. I see a lot of you on social media, on my Instagram, asking that same question. How are you so confident in your body? How are you moving so sensually? How are you so, how do you feel so good in your own body? That's why I think it was important for me to record this and to film this, to even film my face talking, I guess, for you to also, I don't know, to have a sense of authenticity somehow. Not that I need that validation, but for some reason I think it's just more authentic that way. So I don't have my head on my notes, or I don't, overthink everything. I just talk from my heart. For years, I really knew how to perform connection to my body, because in dance that's also what you do, right? You perform connection to your body, but I performed more than I knew, right? It was not like something that I was thinking of to perform, but I was performing the connection way more than I was listening to it. And I think this is something that we all do, that many of us women do, women and men actually, because I also want to say something. If you're a man listening to this or watching this, I just want you to know, like, we talk a lot about women, but you are seen too. I see you, at least. I know how difficult it is also for men to build connection with their body and to build a real authentic connection with their body, not just for performance or appearance. And to come back to women is the same, right? We all struggle with connecting with our body. The thing is, like, I think also in my experience, I grew up thinking that it was not really convenient to listen to the body. It was just something I was using. It was just like a tool I was using to escape. Through dance, I also ran. I was running a lot. I also even ran. I actually been running for years. I've stopped for some years. I've just been slowly back to it recently, but I ran for a really, really long time. And I was also, I don't know how it's called, and I don't know what the word is, you know, at school when you do like these races. Yeah, it's the word is race. Basically. So I was running, and I was really passionate about running for some reason, but I noticed that all the sports I was picking and really good at, I was choosing them because I was able to escape my body. And so I thought that I was going into a meditation mode, and probably I was, in like partially I was, but I was running away from feeling. So even in dance, you know, because in dance you have to be really aware of your body, you have to be aware of the alignment of every posture, you have to be aware of the emotion you're embodying, but this is also a mask you're putting on, because it's not even your emotion that you are performing. You are performing a story, right? And dance becomes very different when you really embody the emotion and you are able to experience it fully. That makes a huge difference. So today I just want to talk honestly about how I rebuilt my relationship with my body, as I said. And it's not, you know, I could go on and on with like transformation, and I could go on and on with like I don't know how to call this, like sort of trying to become more of or less of, I don't know. It's so much deeper than that. So I just want to remind you, and it sounds very cliche, but that your body is not your enemy. The thing is that over time, when you're young and in your life in general, without realizing it, your body can become an object that you watch instead of a place you actually live in. I think many women, again, also men, experience this. We become hyper aware of how we appear rather than how we feel. And that's where the issues start. And the thing is that even in the wellness culture nowadays, the wellness culture can really reinforce that as well. So I don't want to point, what's the expression? Point my fingers at? I don't know. Point my finger at? I don't know what the expression is. But basically, I don't want to bring down the wellness culture, because I think it's a beautiful thing that it's very trending right now, but you need to be careful with the places you choose to go to, the people you choose to surround yourself with, places or things or people you choose to follow on social media, because the wellness culture can reinforce the, you know, hyper focus and awareness on how our body looks like. And it also happens in yoga spaces. It also happens in healing spaces. You know, even sometimes in yoga, you learn postures, you learn aesthetics, you learn a language. It really has a lot to do with how you are using all of these tools that you're learning. And again, really choosing wisely where you go or how you surround or who you surround yourself with, because that can impact your self-image a lot. What nobody teaches you is how to stay with yourself when grief or fear enters your space, or heartbreak, or loneliness, or numbness, or exhaustion. And when that happens, fight or flight mode. Because the one thing you've learned to do is to survive. So your body reacts in fear and through fear, which creates that fight or flight mode, right? So survival mode. So it restricts, it retracts, it can also shrink, it can feel very stiff, very tight. It's a form of protection, right? So when a lot of people also tell me, no, but I'm too stiff to stretch. Yes and no, it's okay to be stiff and too stiff to stretch, but it's just a belief that you have, because I'm not saying like you can be flexible within 3 days, but you're not too stiff to stretch. You can allow expansion to happen, you can allow space to be created in your body, and you can create that space. It's just a matter of feeling safe. It's a matter of allowing the body to feel safe. It's exactly like people who are very uncomfortable with being in Shavasana in terms of yoga, right? So in yoga classes, in case you're not familiar with yoga, at the end of a yoga class, usually and traditionally, we end the practice rather with Shavasana, which is literally death, the corpse pose. So you're just laying on the floor and grounded, closed eyes, and you digest the practice. And it's you go into a meditative state. And a lot of people have a hard time going through that. They have a hard time staying in Shavasana. I see a lot of people escaping Shavasana. They move, they look around, they watch the time, I need to go, I need to get out of here. And when Shavasana is done, they just like pack their bag, just go they just wanted to move, right? Which is not a critique, it's not a judgment, it's just a fact and an observation. I really sound like those people, I'm not judging, I'm just observing. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that it's very uncomfortable for us to stay in an emotion. It's very uncomfortable for us to feel. So we just focus on the appearance, not because we can become obsessed with it, but the obsession is way deeper than you think. The obsession is because you're trying to escape feelings. So you become obsessed with something to escape your biggest fears. Yes. So rebuilding a relationship with your body starts with being able to stay present with what feels uncomfortable. And I cannot say that enough. And I'm not saying that this is something I do easily all the time. I'm not saying this is something that, now like I'm healed from everything. I'm telling you this because it's now so easy. That's not true. I'm still building a relationship with my body every single day. And every single day it requires me to use the tools that I've had through the years, that I've cultivated, that I've experienced, that I've taken with me, that I've been carrying with me, to be able to build and rebuild this relationship with my body. No, it's not easy all the time. No, I don't love every single part of myself every day, although I do try to. And I'm not talking about just the body, just everything, because every part of the body, that's another thing, and I think that requires maybe another episode. But each part of the body represents also a story within you, and a moment in your life, or a part of you, or a part of your grandmother's story, right? So that's why it's so deep. And that also, by the way, helped me a lot with rebuilding a relationship with my body, because knowing that I was made from so many, was made through different wombs, and stories, and also, honoring all of my ancestors, women and men, all of these stories all together, they made I've come to earth with all of these stories. And I dare to say, I don't like that about me. What? Girl. You are a miracle. That's the thing. I have to remind myself of that all the time. I am a miracle. You are a miracle. It's a miracle to be on this earth, to be living right now. What? Crazy, insane, wonderful. So why would I keep on cultivating hate towards myself when actually I'm a beautiful mix of different origins and stories and romantic relationships. Also, some of them like just, just flings and one night stands and whatever. It's just, this is, I'm not saying like you should like be amazed by all of your stories, because obviously we all have unique stories. So here it's very personal. It's just that I love my family stories, and not all of them. So there's a part, because there's a part that I don't know that much. I know a lot of my mom's roots and the stories, because in her family we're all we express a lot of things, and I've always been surrounded by the women of my family on my mom's side. I'm very, very close to them, very close to them. All the women of my family on that side. So, women tell stories, women express, the silliest things and the funniest things, and I love being surrounded by women. And so anyway, when I think of all of that, I just and because I love my grandmother so much, I loved my great grandmother, and I love my mother. So when I think of that, and again, I'm just talking about the women in my family because they mean so much to me. The fact that if my grandmother birthed my mom, and she's such a miracle, and my mom birthed me, and I'm a miracle, and I'm also made of all, like, the universe. The cells are literally the universe. We are the universe. So maybe I'm going really far, but you have to know. Actually, you have to know, because now that I'm starting to record myself and that I'm putting myself out there on YouTube, you really need to know that I'm going deep. Like, I go deep into topics. And I go a bit everywhere. I go a bit all over the place. But yeah, I love it. I love it. Also, I love to talk. Anyway, so I think the real shift can also happen, and it happens with me. The real shift happened when I started to stop asking myself, how do I make my body look better? And instead, I started to ask myself, how do I make my body feel safer? Huge difference. And that changed my life, really. Every single time you're having a bad day, every single time you wake up with unease or this sort of like heavy feeling when it comes to, how your body looks, or how you love yourself, or how you hate yourself, whatever, ask yourself, how can I make my body feel safer? And honestly, this is a game changer, because you're not looking for performance anymore or appearance anymore. Your brain and your consciousness are looking for a way to feel nurtured and a way to feel listened to. So that becomes a conversation with yourself, because when you criticize yourself, when you talk really bad about yourself, when you look solutions to look a certain way, you're not in a relationship with your body. You're not in a conversation with your body. You are literally just enforcing your body. You are imposing something that your body hasn't even asked for. So what kind of president do you want to be to your body? To your country? Like, that's the real question. So, it's also noticing how violent we can be. And I was there. I was violent in like the most subtle ways, like in the way that I was brushing myself sometimes, or how I would ignore exhaustion. If you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you're exhausting yourself. I'm pretty sure some of you here exhaust themselves. Tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me now in the comments that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. So prove me that I'm wrong. But I'm sure you've ignored many times your exhaustion and your tiredness. But also the way that I would push through emotional overwhelm. I'd be like, no, but I'm okay. I'm okay, I can do this. The hyper independent self that is still here from time to time. Oh, we have a little guest with us. Also, the way that I would judge my body for changing, or the way that I would speak to myself internally. And so all of these things, they add up, they build up, and then at some point you explode. At some point, you cannot take it anymore because at some point, your body really signal you and tell you, I'm going to, you're not hearing me, you're not listening to me, I'm gonna show you. So hormonal change, obviously the body can change, or you're gonna feel sick, or you're gonna feel extremely tired to a point that you cannot do anything, the freeze mode, or there's so many ways, or your skin breaking out. And the thing is that when it comes to safety, because I was talking to you about safety, it's an active practice. It's not like just passive and you're just waiting for safety to happen, right? It's knowing when to rest before the collapse. And that's something that you start, cultivating when you start understanding your own body. When you also eat slowly, for example, or when you breathe deeply, when you take the time to breathe, or when you move without needing to for it to be a crazy workout, or that you have to, I don't know, be performative in some ways, or that you have to earn softness. That's a big one. And also, safety can be created when you allow emotions to be here, to exist in your body without pushing them away, because they always come back. Anyway, that's the thing. They always come back. They're always going to be coming back. And you don't need to fix them. You just need to acknowledge them. They're like kids, when kids show you something. How are you responding? Like, I don't care. Like, just move away. No. Emotions are like your kids. They're like, I don't know. Maybe it's a weird thing to say. It's a weird image, but acknowledge them and thank them and let them go. It sounds so easy, but I swear to God, it's not that easy, I know. But it's the first little step. You're sad, you're not feeling okay, you're feeling ugh. Right, acknowledge it. Yeah, I'm feeling shit today. Okay, now what? What can make me feel a bit safer today? Even just 1% safer. And that's when things change. So it's all about communication. Another thing that is very much linked to body poetry and what I've created with body poetry, it's understanding that the body speaks in sensation. So the little things like the tension or the clenched jaw or the tightness or the fatigue, once again, or a shallow breath or overstimulation or numbness or the gut feelings, all of this. And most of us have been conditioned to override these sensations or these signals, right? So especially us women, because we're taught to continue, to keep going, because also there is this thing where we at some point, especially in my generation, at least, there's this thing where we try to be to reach the same, I don't know how to say, like I was going to say the same level as men, but I'm really talking about everything that has to do with money, or we try to also gain, reclaim our power. That's what I mean. And so there is also this thing where women started to become a bit more masculine, have more masculine energy in some ways, because then, and when I'm talking about masculine energy, we all have different, both masculine and feminine energy in our body. I have a whole entire podcast on that, by the way, so if you want to listen to it, you're welcome to. But it's really about willpower and always trying to gain more and be more and do more and be more productive and do that and blah. So the thing is that it's not a bad thing to have in us. We need that to be able to take action on things, but we just pushed it way too far. And we also taught as women, the other side of being a woman is that we have to keep smiling and act in a certain way and keep producing and keep giving, because we're also huge givers. Naturally, we are givers and nurturers, and we're mothers and sisters and daughters. So we give and we give and we accommodate a bit more, and we shrink and we don't talk anymore. But at the same time, we keep running and we keep overstimulating ourselves and we keep having ideas, but it's all over the place. The body is like, sister, calm down. I cannot keep up with you. I don't know what you're doing. The body's screaming. And when personally I started rebuilding relationship, or rather trust with my body, it was through very small things. So for example, so there was no like dramatic healing rituals, right? I just want to say that out loud because I see a lot of that everywhere on Instagram, or it's just social media in general. Yes, there are beautiful things, and I think we need to keep on romanticizing them. But there are other ways, right? So for example, just like walking slower, so that's something I do. Like I put my phone away a lot, and that annoys my family, and my like in my relationships it's always been something really annoying for my partners. But also it annoys my friends. I put my phone away, so that's why I'm very slow at answering. Just so you know, if you're one of my friends or part of my family watching this, just know that I'm sorry. But I just need my phone away because I work online a lot, and so when I don't work, I don't like to have my phone with me. Just it's as simple as that, and that allows me to receive and then give once I've received that softness and that moment and that space for myself. Also, learning to rest without any guilt, learning to regulate my nervous system, learning to touch myself, learning to touch also my body with kindness and ease, and all of these little things that helped me feeling and that helped me building safety and trust with my own body. There are so many more things I want to say, so many more. But at some point, I need to close this episode because I think it's long enough. But I mean, if you do like long formats, just let me know and I can keep doing that. But for now, probably I will do a part 2, but for now I just want to say that if you're ever feeling disconnected from yourself, I want you to know that your body is probably not asking for perfection or like a solution or like for it to be fixed. It's really asking for presence, and I mean it. For listening, for gentleness, for honesty. Also be honest with yourself, and remember that your body is not a project. It's a beautiful vessel made of miracle. It's a miracle. It's made of the universe, and you deserve to receive so much love from yourself. So much love. It's carrying you everywhere. It's doing all of these things for you. I know it sounds also very cliche, but it's so true. So your body's an energy, and I want you to reflect on how you can use this energy in the right way, in the way that serves you, in the way that allows you to feel. Sorry, I'm getting a bit hot because it's a hot topic. It's getting on my nerves because I want you to love yourself. No, I'm just joking. I'm also talking to myself. But you deserve so much gentleness, and remember that you're a miracle. That's basically what I want to say. I thank you so much for listening, for also watching if you've been watching. I would really love a feedback from you. It's always helping, and you can subscribe. There will be more, and I send you so much love. Thank you for listening.